Jazz, you've heard it, in every piece of music from rap to pop. Jazz is one of the most influential genres of music of all time. But how has jazz survived all these years, and is it regaining popularity again?
Well, I like jazz. I've always liked jazz because my dad is a jazz music player. He's kind of got me into everything, if that makes sense. He plays the saxophone. So I've heard jazz since I was little. I really like it. I always have. I find it calming.
When it comes to jazz, I think it's really calming and nice to listen to. I mostly put it on when I'm revising, and I just like hearing about the roots of it as well, just like the black artists that have come from it, them being successful, and I just think it's a very relaxing genre of music.
So I quite like jazz music because it draws you into the music and it's interesting, makes you want to listen to it more. I think it's quite upbeat and makes you feel happy.
Hi, I'm Andy Chesham. I own Vinyl Revelations record shop in Luton Town Centre. We've been up and running since 1994. Jazz is something I got into at a young age. It's one of those types of music. I think anyone who really is into music, they get into jazz at some stage, sometimes at a young age, sometimes at an older age. Because it's such an eclectic sort of style, it could be anything from that kind of the stuff I first got into, that kind of cool 1950s jazz, sort of Miles Davis, John Coltrane, that kind of sound. I got into, when I first started buying 45s when I was a kid, my dad gave me, he only had 4 singles and one of them was a jazz track, Miles Davis, Straight No Chaser. As soon as I heard it, I was just like, wow, what is that? Didn't understand it, just loved it, just loved the feel of it. And it just grows with you. It's just one of those type of music that just grows with you, that you never get out of. Once you get into it, you never get out of it. Jazz, it's just something that I've grown with. So if my mood's right, then it's the perfect mood for me. You know, just to chill out, sit down, have a read, have a relax, or do something. You know, it's just that perfect bit of music. It's great to watch live as well, because you've got a lot of different instruments all coming in at the same stage. There's always a new breed of jazz buyer. Some come in through the back of, say, drum and bass, where the samples have come in. Some might be through the hip-hop sort of style. And some come in through something like Radiohead, where although it's not strictly jazz what they're doing, but the way they kind of go about it, it kind of appeals to a younger generation. So there's people buying jazz records in here who aren't even teenage yet, and there are other guys who are buying jazz who are in their 80s, you know, and it's absolutely everyone in between. It's a universal genre of music.
Jazz, as we know, has a long and deep history, first gaining popularity in New Orleans in the late 19th century. The lower class black communities of New Orleans started to play with blues-inspired chords, with instruments such as saxophones and trumpets, a staple of jazz musicians, with the likes of John Coltrane, Miles Davis and Wes Montgomery to gain popularity in the 50s and 60s. Jazz has always had deep African roots based in the music, with spontaneous improvisation being another staple for jazz musicians. Jazz has become international, becoming popular in the UK in the 1960s and still attracting new audiences. I spoke to a local jazz musician and label owner, Paul Jolly.
Hi, my name's Paul Jolly and I'm a musician and label owner. Yeah, when I was at school we had an inspirational school teacher who introduced us to jazz and to other kinds of music. I just love the freedom it brings, the fact personally that it's enabled to meet lots of really lovely people all around the planet. It's just a way of creating and keeping creativity alive, and it doesn't really matter at what level you play it, it's just brings you confidence and the ability to meet other people. So I'm not convinced it will be totally popular, but I think the audiences are increasing because people have access to different music via the internet. Just be honest with yourself, play the music that you really love and really enjoy. Look after your rights as a creative person. Don't get ripped off.
Jazz will forever be inside of our hearts, even if the formula does change for new audiences. But now, you must acquire the taste for freeform jazz.